daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome one and all. It is Friday, October the 24th, 2025. You're listening to the Daily Premier League podcast. Special mention, special shout out to everybody who makes this podcast part of their daily listening experience. Gather round, everybody. We're about to talk about the Premier League and a very, very busy Premier League weekend, which is almost upon us. My name's Ken Davis. His name is Nick Britton. How are you doing, Nick? Are you looking forward to the weekend?
Very much looking forward to the weekend. A home game for me tomorrow, so I'll be looking forward to going to Pride Park. Are you going to Derby tomorrow?
If I get back.
You're off to Leeds later on.
I'm on a train in the morning. But I'm planning on going. I'm planning on going to see another spectacular 1-0 victory for
Mate, to be fair, tomorrow's a really hard game. QPR's away form is very good, so if it's 1-0 Derby, I'll be chuffed to bits.
I got that feeling about it. I think Derby played well second half last time. So
no midfield, though. No midfield.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Adams is suspended. We've only got one midfielder at the club.
Take your boots with you. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking mine. Three things to talk about today. Want to just have a quick, as we always like to do, it seems to be an everyday occurrence, have a little conversation about Forrest. They played in the Europa League in the week. Dyche managed to win that game 2-0 against Porto. So I want to have a quick conversation about that because there's a couple of little things, little digs, little kind of pointed things that came out of that, which I just want to get your view on. I want to talk about Sheffield Wednesday. They're not a Premier League club, as you know, but they are an extremely historic club. Spent a lot of their time in the upper echelons of the football pyramid. They've just gone into receivership or administration, actually, more technically. Just want to touch on that because it's an issue that affects everyone. And then I want to talk about the games coming up and get your predictions, Nick, and my predictions. Let's hope the prediction performance is better than last week, which can only be described as horrific.
It was rancid. It was rancid, terrible. It was a terrible effort. Yeah. It was a terrible effort. Yeah. Yeah. No, so I can feel it in my water this week. I've definitely got these results nailed. I think I've got them all.
Excellent. If you want any help in terms of ever your betting or anything like that, whenever Nick says, do the opposite. Can't go far wrong. Right. Okay. First things first. Forrest. Obviously, he won in the week.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. You're wrong quite frequently. Right. So Morgan Gibbs-White quoted as saying, "Feels like I can finally breathe after a difficult couple of months. Morale is a lot higher and we're a lot more energetic. Sean Dyche, they need to get fitter and stronger. This is not a criticism of any other manager. It's just the way I like to have my players fit. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it'll happen." Now, both of those things you might say are not digs at Ange, but at the same breath, they are a bit. What's your thoughts on that, Nick?
Well, Gibbs-White, like any footballer, will say exactly what suits him to say it in any particular moment. Let's not forget he's the guy who his agent tried to engineer a move out of Nottingham Forest during the summer towards the start of the season and go to Tottenham. Marinakis, the Forest owner, stood firm, refused to let it happen. Then all of a sudden, Morgan Gibbs-White said it was a massive confusion and nobody knew what was going on. And of course, he loves Forest and look, he's signing a new contract. And it was never in his mind to leave to go to Tottenham. So he's one of those guys, like a lot of players, who will just say whatever suits them to say it in a moment. And of course, what suits him to say it at the moment is to say back the new boss and get rid of the old one. So I'm sure when Ange took over, he was saying exactly the same. Yeah, it feels great. New manager coming in, new ideas and all of that. They just say whatever they want to say. So I don't really give a huge amount of credibility.
Very cynical.
Well, I don't. It's just, look, it's how footballers are. And in some respect, it's how they have to be. They have to be. They kind of have to be like this. But I don't think there's any truth. Well, truth's the wrong phrase. I just don't think there's any great meaning behind any of it as far as listening to Morgan Gibbs-White, because tomorrow, if Dyche got sacked, he'll go, "Oh, yeah, I'm glad he got sacked. It was terrible." You just can't win with these guys. And footballers are. I mean, one of the reasons why they're not very good at media is because they just blow with the wind and they'll just say whatever suits them to say at any suitable time.
And Dyche's comments there about fitness.
Well, that's another one where he goes out of his way. He goes out of his way to say this is not a pop at any other manager. This is not about Ange Postecoglou. And of course, the media just says, "Oh,
But-
Dyche has a massive pop at Ange." I mean, absolutely load of rubbish. It's rubbish. It's clickbait. He said Dyche said. I thought Dyche's interview was very good, by the way, and I thought the fact that Forrest won 2-0 was the perfect start for him, and
Great
great
start for him.
great job. Great job and well done. And he did. I mean, look, if you want to say, yeah, we got our defence sorted out as a pop at Ange, then take that as you will. But actually, all he's saying is we got our defence sorted out.
There's a little thing there about, I like my players a bit fitter than what I found them. That's the underlying between the lines, isn't it?
Yeah. That's probably the one bit where you could go, okay, fine. But does that warrant a massive headline? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe
it's going to be the massive headline on this podcast.
Well,
Forrest fitness fiasco.
Forrest
fitness fiasco. Makes note.
Cat gets stuck up tree with a massive headline on this podcast. Look, I come from a world, as you well know, of serious and proper journalism.
No, sorry, did I laugh out loud then? Sorry, go on.
That's all I'm going to say. I spent many years at one of the country's most foremost serious newspapers. I've done broadcasts with serious broadcasters. I'm not going to give into this nonsense internet clickbait rubbish that you lap up with a bowl of milk in front of them.
Very good, correct. Second thing, slightly more substantial, slightly more serious. Sheffield Wednesday gone into administration this morning, Friday. Very sad, a great old club, grand old lady of the football world. Obviously, I think there's every chance they'll be bought out by somebody who's already interested. I think brings to and probably will bring to a close the embarrassing. It's the only word to use. Ownership of Declan Chansiri of Wednesday. It's been an absolute car crash. We like to point out owners who essentially drive their clubs into a wall at 70 miles an hour. Chansiri seems to have done that. Thoughts on Sheffield Wednesday, Nick?
This is a very sad story. It's a very sad situation.
Oh, he's got all the emotion.
It's a very sad situation because we had this at Derby a few years ago. We know the pain it causes. We know the difficulty it causes. There's a lot of similarities between Sheffield Wednesday and Derby. But whatever club it is, football clubs are there for the community. They're there for the supporters. And owners come and go, players come and go, managers come and go. But the supporters will always remain. And I think it's very sad when you see a big club like this in Sheffield, a historic club like this in Sheffield, being driven, as you say, into the wall at 70 miles an hour. Now, this is not a surprise. This has been a journey that's taken probably 3 or 4 years, whereby there's been big clashes with the ownership between the ownership and the supporters. There's been a lack of funds, a lack of money. What this means now is, of course, that administration will come, 12 points deduction will come, which will certainly, I think, nail Sheffield Wednesday relegation. I mean, they're already down at the bottom of the table anyway, but this will probably nail them to becoming a League One club next season. And that's not the worst thing, by the way. It's not the worst thing.
What they need.
Clubs have been there and done it and come back out and re-establish themselves. I think in many ways, supporters will have a bit of a sigh of relief in amongst their emotions on this. They're very difficult emotions. There's a range of emotions. But I think one of them will be, I'm glad this is over because this was a lingering death. And it's been lingering for quite some time. And it was never going to get any better under Chansiri. It was very interesting on Wednesday night when they were playing Middlesbrough at home. The fans boycotted the game. And if you look at the pictures, there's an estimated 7,000 people in the stadium. It's 3,500 of which, half of which were crammed into the away end because they were Middlesbrough fans. So you're looking at 3,500 supporters dotted around a sort of 30,000 or whatever it might be or more.
It
looked like a pre-season game. And it's very unusual you see this because normally when supporters trust say, we'll boycott a game or whatever, some do, but the majority don't. But particularly if you're a season ticket holder and you've already paid for your season ticket. But to see the empty stands there, I thought was a very, very powerful moment in this particular story. A very powerful moment. And if you look back, this administration thing's been going on for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Talks have been going on between Sheffield Wednesday and HMRC for the last couple of weeks, since probably about end of the first week of October. And it's clear that I think the tipping point was when they had an extra bill landed on them for PAYE, which ran into six figures. And I think that was the tipping point for HMRC not being convinced at all that Sheffield Wednesday were going to find the funds to carry the club on in its current form. So
yeah, I think that's true. It shouldn't be unexpected. PAYE bills are not unexpected. You know exactly what your what the rate is. You know exactly how much you are going to pay. So Sheffield Wednesday haven't really got an excuse on that.
No, there's no excuse whatsoever. There's no excuse. And we know that club owners who do this to clubs just find ways of not paying tax, whichever way they can. That's one of the things that happens when clubs end up going into administration. I think it'd be interesting to see who's kind of around to buy them, because they're not in a great shape financially. A lot of supporters are talking about Mike Ashley at the moment, swimming around, doing what he kind of did at Derby, which is waiting in the shadows until he can buy them for £1, because that's going to pay the least amount possible. So that wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know what other talks are going to be going on now between administrators and potential owners to see. But ultimately, this is a very sad story. It's a very sad day for Sheffield Wednesday. And I think every football supporter outside of the Premier League is in a situation, but that is there for the grace of God, because I think a lot of football clubs are forever teetering on the brink. Most football clubs in the Championship run at a loss, and you're only one bad decision or bad owner away from going to the wall.
Not Wrexham, but anyway. But we've been there.
We've been there. Yeah, but you were. Wrexham have been there. Wrexham have been there. They faced very dark days. They faced days where there were possibilities at the club.
We had to raise £250,000 in a day, and Spurs did it, because that's what Spurs did.
You just gave them that, didn't you?
I just loose change, found it down.
Dipped into your pocket, down the back of the couch, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Right.
So we hope this is a turning point. We hope this is the bottom of the curve for Sheffield Wednesday, and they can come out of this, they can find a new owner, and they can go on to thrive again.
Absolutely right. The only glimmer of good news on that whole story is that I reckon there's only 2 relegation places up for grabs in the Championship this year. But that's me being extraordinarily selfish.
Mate, Wrexham got no chance going down, and
thank you.
I don't think Derby will, but they need to improve fairly quickly.
Well, we'll know a bit more about that.
Snigger all you like. Snigger all you like.
Well, we'll see at the weekend. As you know, in football, as John Eustace knows at Derby, it pays to get your team selection right. Here at Global, not at Derby County, here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery partner, and we chose Zencastr, because Zencastr makes it easy to bring your vision to life, share it with the audience, wherever they may be. It's got 4K video recording, it's got easy AI editing, and top-tier distribution, and it's all in one place. Really, really easy. So if you've got a story to tell it with Zencastr. You can check the show notes for more details.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Right, part 2 of this, our favourite bit, my favourite bit, getting Nick's predictions for the Premier League games.
This is definitely not my favourite bit.
It's great. This is the Daily Premier League's podcast equivalent of Kenny's Quiz, which takes place on the Road to World Cup podcast, which I invariably get all the questions wrong, apart from yesterday, or the one that's gone out today, actually, which I got all 3 right. So Nick is going to get every single one of these correct. So
this is great. Yeah, it was published this morning, actually, and there's a great thumbnail. I've produced a great thumbnail for this one, because it's you versus Thierry Henry. And there's a picture of you and a picture of Thierry Henry. As we took him to task for his comments that Morocco would be the team to watch in next year's World Cup.
They're good, but they're not that good. Okay, so first things first. Let's go through the games. Game tonight: Leeds against the mighty, the powerful, the all-conquering West Ham United. Just to set that in scene, Leeds have had 1 win in 5. It's not great. West Ham have had 1 point in 5. So it's going to be edge of the seat stuff. What do you reckon is the outcome of this one, Nick?
Well, you know what, Ken? West Ham are due a win. West Ham are due a win, and I think they're going to get it. I think they're going to get it, but it might not be until the opening day of the Championship season next season.
Yeah, I wonder where we were going on that one. I was thinking, hello, it's my first victory. What are you going for? Leeds aren't great though.
No, they're not great. They're not bad though. They're better than I thought they were going to be. They're better at home. They're much better at home than they are on the road. And West Ham are just terrible at home and on the road. Nuno has not had the required management bounce since he took over. Of played 3, lost 3, and they look terrible. They look wretched. They look totally out of sorts. And
I was having a conversation with a West Ham supporter on this, Nick. I was having a conversation with a West Ham supporter, absolutely avid West Ham supporter, yesterday. I said, West Ham will look a bit ropey. He says, oh, no. This is all part of Nuno's plan. That team he played that team he played is a statement to the ownership, is if you don't give me in January £100 billion to spend, this is what I'm going to put out.
What absolute garbage.
It's not. He does listen to this, Nick.
Does he? Good. Right, what's his name?
Well, we probably shouldn't.
What's his name? Well, give me his first name.
Sandy.
You've just made that up. But Sandy, if that's not your real name, and it is a real name, it might not be a real name, I don't know. If you're listening to this, my friend, thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying it. But for goodness sake, take your head out of your, just say the clouds for now, shall we? It's a family-friendly show. Take your head out of clouds, smell the coffee, wake up, you're going down.
So the result, Nick?
Are we doing results? I don't think we're doing results.
Yes. Not actual results, just the
home win. Yeah, home win. Absolute home win.
Okay, you know what? I'm going for a draw.
You absolute clown.
Well, I look forward to Sunday's episode. Chelsea against Sunderland.
Yeah, Chelsea hitting form now.
Yep.
Chelsea hitting form, and
5th place.
Sunderland will give them a good game. Sunderland are playing really well. We've been very impressed with them this season so far, but home advantage. I think Chelsea are starting to find their rhythm, and I think they'll just be just about too strong. So a narrow win for Chelsea.
I agree. 2-0, I reckon, around that kind of thing for Chelsea. Sunderland, good defence, great keeper, as we've pointed out many, many, many times. But, home win. Next one, an absolute bore fest. The middle of the road, mid-table as you could possibly get. 14th against 15th. Newcastle at home to Fulham. Voltemade, is he going to get his regular goal every week?
Newcastle were outstanding against Benfica the other night. They played. Benfica aren't great. I get that, but Newcastle were really, really good. And I don't know if you've seen the goals. The second and third goal, both of which were scored by Harvey Barnes as he came off the bench. The first one was just from a massive throw from Pope. So it was a cross into the Newcastle area. It was a massive throw. And although the defender
made why goalkeepers don't do that more. You can be far more precise with a throw than just a massive long kick.
Well, if you can see, he spun the ball, so he kind of throws it, and if it carries on a kind of straight trajectory and carried on, it would probably kind of hit the penalty spot area of the opposing goal. But Barnes was on the wing, and it just bends round beautifully in the air. And the defender, you must say, the defender made a complete hash of it. I mean, he's got to deal with that, and he just. But the ball then fell into Barnes's path, and he ran on, and he was actually forced wide, and you wondered whether the chance had gone, but he finished superbly. And the second goal was a lovely pass, back flick, pass from Gordon into Barnes, finish. It's a lovely goal. So great, good. And Newcastle needed it. They needed that morale-boosting win because they've not really been finding much form. They need to find form in the league. I think they'll find it at home to Fulham is a game that you should expect them to win, and I think they will win. Home win.
A home win for me as well. Fulham have lost 3 out of 3. They're as bad as Liverpool. I think, another home win. I agree. The only one we disagree on so far is West Ham. Here's one. Man United won 3 out of 4 in 9th place, up to 9th place with a bullet, against Brighton, who are always consistently overperforming.
They do.
What do you fancy this one?
They do. This is a difficult one. I think I'm going for a draw. I'm going for a draw. Should be a good game, but Brighton are a hard team to play against. Sorry about that. Brighton are a hard team to play against, and they're good away from home as well. So I think they'll find it difficult. Man United will find it difficult. Brighton's defence is better than Liverpool's defence. I think Man United will find from last week. So Yeah. Score draw.
Score draw. I'm going for a home victory. I think United have really turned the corner. Very, very impressive against Liverpool. I think Amorim is very rapidly emerging as a legend of Man United. They've turned. Honestly, you know
what? What are you on, mate? What are you on today?
They are football supporters are fickle. Suddenly, the mood music around Old Trafford has changed dramatically from essentially da 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 to ding 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 ding. Everyone's dead happy. So I think Man United are going to win this and going to win this quite comfortably. And people are going to say that system, that shape that Amorim has, why? That's genius. So I'm going for a home win. And finally, late game, I think, on Saturday. This is an interesting game. One of the games of the weekend. I think Brentford, 13th, who have won 2 out of the last 3, against Liverpool in 4th, who have managed to lose 3 out of the last 3.
But had an absolutely thumping win against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League a couple of days ago.
They did. After going 1 behind.
They scored 5 goals. 3 of the goals came from defenders. If you count, to be fair, that's not quite fair, because if you count Szoboszlai as defender, then yes. If you don't, then no.
He's
but both centre-halves scored and Van Dijk scored. Fair play. Thiago's on fire, by the way. Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, Igor Thiago's on fire. He's only scored less than Haaland and Semenyo. Yeah, so he's third top scorer in the league, and he's scoring goals regularly. So,
and I don't think they'll fancy Thiago running at him.
They won't. No, they won't. What is your prediction? You go first this time.
Brentford win.
Oh, I've gone for Brentford. Hang about. Wait a minute. A few days ago, you've changed your mind massively, because when we were talking about Liverpool on this podcast and we did next 5 games starting on Saturday, I predicted a Brentford win, and you're like, no, poo-pooed it.
So I'm going for a home win, because you know what
you're going for is you're coming around to my way of thinking. That's what you're saying.
You're allowed to change your mind, aren't you? It ebbs and flows. It can change very rapidly. I'm just thinking. I know Liverpool had a great victory. I just don't fancy him against teams that run at him, and Brentford have discovered that in the last few weeks. So I'm tempted by a draw, but I'm going to go for a home win. I think it's going to be. I think the wheels will continue to fall off Liverpool. That would be 3 games that they've lost. In fact, 4 games. Therefore, all 4 wheels would have dropped off.
Very good.
So, what do you reckon? Are you going for home win as well?
I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all week. I'm not somebody who just blows with the wind and changes their mind at every couple of moments. So I said at the start of the week, Brentford, I'm going to go for a home win, and I'm going to stick with it.
Good man. Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, by the way, the world's most personalised supplements, because your body's unique. And because, without knowing what deficiencies you have, taking off-the-shelf supplements might mean you're probably not getting enough of the nutrients you need, maybe too many of the ones you don't. So Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right level. So why don't you click on the show notes, use the code GSPN2025, you'll get 40% off your first order.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okie dokie. So 5 more games. So that's the Friday and Saturday games taken care of. These are the Sunday games. Interesting one. Bournemouth, the team of the season, one could argue, in 3rd place against Forrest, suddenly rejuvenated. Energy levels right up, fitness levels like you've never seen. They're going to be like Usain Bolt times 11. So are Bournemouth going to be able to hold out against the resurgent Forest?
I think what we'll see from Forest is what we're going to see from Forest, which is quite dull, quite boring, partner bus football, try and hit on a break, dull, boring. And Bournemouth have got to break them down. They will break them down, and they'll win the game, home win. You've got Semenyo on fire, 2nd highest score in the league. You've got Bournemouth playing well all over the pitch. Whoever comes in off the bench seems to make an impact. Ariola's got the team purring. And I mean, I think the only thing that I think is going to be a question mark over this game in my mind is whether or not Forrest are. Well, they can break down a very, very stubborn Forrest. I just think that's going to be the key here. If they put everybody behind the ball for 90 minutes, as they probably will, is that going to be? Can Bournemouth get through that? So that's going to be the question in my mind. I think they will. I think they've got enough quality there. So I'm going to go home win.
Right, I'm going for an away win. On the basis of this, I believe in Saint Sean of Dyche. Forrest, I think we're going to get a reversion to the mean. To put this in mathematical, statistical terminology, a reversion to the mean is when things become outliers, they revert back to the mean. I think Bournemouth are in third place is an outlier. I think Forrest at 18th is an outlier. We're going to have a reversion to the mean. And that means that Forrest are going to walk away with a 1-0 or 2-1 victory. So I'm going to go with an away win. And you can look at me and point and laugh for predicting that.
Can I? Ha, 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 and I'm pointing for anybody who can't.
Or I'll be carried shoulder high through Nottingham. So that's my view on that. Arsenal against Palace. Arsenal just seem immense.
I think Arsenal just seem unstoppable, and Palace had a really surprising defeat last night in the Conference League.
They did.
That was absolutely not expected to a team from Nicosia in Cyprus. That's odd. That kind of makes me think a little bit because, well, you know how impressed I've been with Palace this season, as we both have. There is a sense, and there's always a sense with an Oliver Glasner team, that he plays his strongest team in every single game. And I like that as a manager, by the way. I think that's great. But it's also very difficult to do. And sooner or later, these things do start catching up with you a little bit. And I was really surprised at the result. And listen, maybe there is nothing to read into it. It's just, Mateta missed a couple that he would normally score. Nketiah missed a fairly simple chance. Palace, were pushing and pushing and pushing. Maybe it was just one of those games. Anyway, look, regardless of all of that, going to Arsenal is very, very hard. And I don't know what Palace have got. I'm kind of tempted to go for a draw here because Palace are so good away from home. And, whilst Mateta is scoring goals, as he is every week, they've got a real threat. Their number 9 is better than Arsenal's number 9, without a shadow of a doubt. And but Arsenal they've got depth of squad, home advantage. I think probably a narrow Arsenal win. I would
agree with that. I think Arsenal defensively look really good. Arsenal midfield looks really good, and even quite fancy him up front these days. So, yeah, I can't say anything past an Arsenal victory. You're right, Palace. I just got a feeling Palace might just be again reverting to the mean and just kind of just falling off they've had a couple of defeats now because obviously they lost to Bournemouth, didn't they? And they had that on the week.
They lost to Everton. They lost to Everton in the league.
Yeah, they
obviously lost last night as well. But yeah, I mean they are. One might say. I mean they're 8th in the table. That's not too far off where they should. I mean they should be looking probably a natural position for Palace would be probably somewhere between 9th and 11th or 10th and 12th around that area. So they're not far off that.
No, I guess concerned that Arsenal is going to be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, so I think that's what everybody says so far.
I've gone for a home win as well. Here's the game of the weekend: Villa against Man City. Villa 11th with a bullet, won 3 out of 3. Man City 2nd, won 4 in 5. This is a big clash of two teams really on their game.
This is the game of the weekend. You're absolutely right. This should be a cracker. This should be a really, really good game to watch. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, yep, Villa have restored faith in themselves. They have climbed up the league after that horrendous start. I mean, they had a really bad start. But the benefit of having a bad start is that when you finally hit the ground running, then the other teams haven't got a lot of points on the board because it's still very early season. So suddenly they find themselves in 11th place where only 4 weeks ago we're thinking, blimey, they're going to get out of the bottom 3. So that's the way these things can change very quickly. Form is good. As you say, won the last 3. Man City won the last 3. And it's going to be a very, very tight game. And my prediction is it's going to be a very tight game until you see the 2 number 9s. And then it's going to change it. And I think the difference will be Watkins or whoever whoever Villa choose to start up front, they haven't started with him the last couple of games, have they? But and Haaland. And Haaland is the difference between
Haaland
Man
just
City
looks
and
like a
Liverpool.
machine, doesn't he? He
Yeah.
looks as good as he's ever been.
Oh, without a doubt. You remember that a couple of seasons ago when he really burst onto the scene massively,
Yeah.
and everybody went, "Wow, okay, who is this guy?" And then last year he kind of dropped off a little bit.
A little bit. But so
And
did
Man
City.
so did
City.
City. They changed the way they played. This, blah, blah. This season he's back with a bang, looking amazing. He's looking unstoppable. He scored again. He scores in the international breaks. He scores in Europe. He gets scored again in Europe. A couple of nights ago, he scores in the league. He scores everywhere he goes. And
He's amazing.
there was a great article about him the other day. Actually, I don't know if you caught it. I think it was at the Times or the Athletic, one of the two, where he's talking about his diet and his regime and all of that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really it's
fascinating. Pep's been talking about him today, saying he's a little bit mad. We don't really know how to manage him, but he is who he is. So I think I'm going to go for a draw. I do think City are the strongest favourites there, but I'm going to go for a draw. So what are you going for? You going for?
I'm going to go for a sneaky away win, and it's a sort of game where you can see Villa building up a real head of steam, pressure, and City just break away and Haaland scores. And
Fair enough.
That kind of game, you know.
Right, let's wrap up these last two because I've got a train to catch in an hour. Wolves against Burnley. Talk about the game of the week. Obviously, we talked about Wolves' game last week, where they had two games that they just had to get something out of. They didn't manage to do that last weekend, and now they've got Burnley at home. This is it for Wolves. This is it.
Well, you go from one game.
Win.
You go from one game, Villa, Chelsea. That's like the game of the weekend. You go straight away to the complete other end and opposite end of the spectrum, Wolves versus Burnley. The simple fact is, Wolves have to win it. They have to win it. They have to win this game. It's crazy.
And therefore they will. There'll be just that little extra.
No. It's nothing. Nothing works like that. Just because you want to win a game or you feel you have to, doesn't mean you're going to. But it's absolutely crazy to be talking about must-win games this early in the season. But there's a real feel that if Wolves don't start picking up soon, then they're going to get left stranded. I think they will.
If they draw this match, they've got 3 points out of 27.
I know.
It's going to.
How bad is that?
Very bad.
Is that? Yeah, look, Burnley aren't much better. They're in 17th, so they've only got 7 points. I think Wolves are arguably better than they've been playing, and I don't know. I don't know why I say that. I just kind of got a sense that they're better than how they're playing. They've got reasonable players. There's just something about them that just can't put results together or see out games. Because there's a couple of games where they've gone from 3 points to 1 point very, very quickly in recent times, and that makes the league very different. So, yeah, I think they'll win. If you look at their last sort of 4 games, that draw with Brighton when Brighton scored very late, a draw away at Tottenham when Tottenham scored really, really, really late, 95th minute. They then beat Everton in the League Cup, and then they lost away at Leeds. And as I said, they lost at home to Leeds, didn't they? And then they lost. Sorry, then they lost to Sunderland most recently. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry, not Leeds. Losing to Sunderland's no disgrace because the Stadium Light's a hard place to go. Prior to that, you kind of felt like they were heading in the right direction, winning 2 draws in those previous 3 games. So I think it'll come, and I think it will come on Sunday. I think they'll win this game. Okay,
I'm going for a draw. I think Wolves have just lost too much momentum, lost too much talent, and I don't think Burnley are that bad. They're hard to break down. They always have been. I don't think Wolves will. I think it'll be a draw, probably very low scoring. It'll be 0-0 or 1-1. And a final game: Everton in 12th against Spurs in 6th. I still don't believe in Spurs. I know they exist, but I just don't believe that position for them. Everton against Spurs. I'll go first on this one. I just kind of like Everton. I think Everton, certainly at the Hill Dickinson, have got a little bit of momentum. I think Spurs aren't great travellers. I'm going to go for not a comfortable, but I think a reasonable home win.
Yeah, I can see this. We talked about Man City and Aston Villa being potentially the most entertaining game of the weekend. This might be the second most entertaining game of the weekend. I think Everton at home are much more progressive than they've been for quite some time. They've got good talent up front now. They look to take the game to teams, and Tottenham are always, for one reason or another, a decent side to watch, and they'll give it a go. So could be a good game. It should be a good game, should I say? I think Everton's home form will tip the balance on this one. I think they're good at home. Tottenham's form at the moment, if you look at the last 4 games, draw with Wolves, draw with Bodo Glimt, victory against Leeds, defeat against Aston Villa. It's up and down a little bit. I like Thomas Frank. I like Tottenham. I'm not totally sold on them, but I like them. And they've got quite a distance to travel, considering where they were this time last year, or even the whole of last year, last season, that is. So, but I think Everton will be too good, and I think it will be a kind of 2-1-y type of game, 2-1, 2-0. Home win anyway.
Home win. You've got 8 home wins, 1 draw and 1 away. I have got 6 home wins, 3 draws and an away victory. So let's bring it to a conclusion. Thanks for that. I'm about to miss my train, so we better call it to a conclusion. Nick, thank you for your insights, for your expertise, and for your just general brilliance.
Thank you very much. You added and your great predictions on the end of that, but I'll add it for you.
No, I missed that off for a reason, which we're about to find out. Right, thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Hope your teams win, and we'll see you next time.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.